So, the second story is Shadow. It starts out with easily the most badass cutscene in the whole game, where Shadow does a ton of things that you will never be able to do in the real game. And he also teleports, even though he doesn't have a Chaos Emerald at the moment. I guess he can do that. Although this really bothers me, because I'm like, if Shadow can teleport, why don't you just teleport everywhere? Why run at all? So then the first level of Shadow's area is White Acropolis. Wait, what?
Yeah.
In a sense of deja vu, Nick.
Remember when we kind of complained about Sonic Heroes' repetitive level structure? Yeah, 06 is worse when it comes to that. A lot worse.
There is no difference between these levels. The only difference is that Shadow is missing a single area. Actually, I don't think he's even missing that area now that I think about it. Shadow doesn't have a board. He doesn't have to do the snowboarding segment, which, thank God. Though he does have to do a vehicle driving segment, which is irritating as shit, but we'll talk about that in a second. I don't understand why they couldn't design original levels for each character. Like, I don't mind the occasional rehash, like, you know, story-wise, like Sonic Adventure did that, where some characters would go to similar areas. Like, that was fine. But at least give each character their own certain kind of level. And, you know what? God damn it, at least Sonic Heroes gave you a different objective. The objective is always the fucking same in Sonic Next Gen. It tells you to do something different, but the objective is always get to the end of the fucking level, find the giant gold ring. There's no difference. It's the same fucking level. You're just playing it with Shadow this time. Shadow controls only is slightly different. He has a melee attack. Whenever he homing attacks, if you keep mashing the A button, he'll start beating the crap out of the enemy, which honestly is a pretty cool idea. And you can also use Chaos Spear to stun them. That's really about it in terms of Shadow's abilities, though. They don't really take full advantage of his double Chaos power, and I hate to say it, but I'm pretty sure Shadow the Hedgehog did better in that regard. Like the game. So then you get to the vehicle driving area. Don't ask me why there's a vehicle randomly in Eggman's base. And why does Shadow drive vehicles? Why do that at all? That was one of the worst ideas in Shadow the Hedgehog. And they carried it over. Like, the vehicles are a little bit more original, and they actually have sort of a purpose to a certain extent. But here you need them, not near them, because you have to destroy all the searchlights before you can go to the next area. Why that is, I will never understand. But you do. And you need this truck to do it. And God forbid you ever get stuck like I did, because I'm retarded. But once you do that, you get to the next area and you find Rouge, and that's good. I will mention at this point that, we'll talk about this in a second, but Shadow's story is probably the best one in the whole game. Although, you will be disappointed to realize that there is a first boss after White Acropolis. Oh, hi, Egg Cerberus.
Yeah.
I feel like I've fought you before.
Yeah, they rehashed the bosses, too.
I don't understand.
Actually, I think the only time each character has their own original boss is their final bosses. All the bosses are rehashed. If you fought them once in one character's gameplay, you're gonna fight them again in another story.
Every boss except the final ones are rehashed at least once. You fight each boss twice throughout the course of the game. There's no difference. This is literally the same fight with Sonic, except it's with Shadow. The only key difference is that in Sonic's fight there were statues, specifically, that you could run the Egg Cerberus into that actually did more damage. Here there is no such thing, so it takes longer to kill the Egg Cerberus, so it's a more tedious fight, which is great. Oh, by the way, Shadow still says something like, "Oh, now your armor's gone. Now I can, hit you. Now it's my turn." So again, with misleading you into thinking suddenly you can attack this guy. Normally, no, you do the same thing the whole fucking time. Fucking great. So after that, Rouge reveals she has this weird, like, talisman thing.
How should I know?
Which is called the Scepter of Darkness.
Don't
They have my
Book
scepter.
of Darkness?
I have a little favor to ask of you.
Yeah, at one point in the game, they randomly the voice dub randomly calls it the Book of Darkness, even though the subtitle still says Scepter of Darkness, and every other time they call it the Scepter.
Shadow, and he doesn't.
I don't know how you would even call this thing a book.
It's the ancient.
That's not a book!
In Kingdom Valley.
I should know!
I know.
It's my scepter!
I just followed my orders and
Anyway, so...
Really?
Yes! I made that joke!
Could you escort me to the GUN rendezvous point?
Jesus Christ, man. God damn it. I quit. I quit.
Nothing wrong with that joke! There's nothing wrong with that joke! The next area, they tell you they're going to meet you in the castle, the abandoned castle, you know, that holy ground that you had to do the 3 trials for? Yeah, you get to go there again. Only Shadow doesn't have to do the 3 trials, because Shadow just does not give a shit, I guess. They also introduce you to a different concept. He does have a chaos form where he glows red and can do more damage. This is actually utilized in some of his later boss fights, which is nice. But it doesn't really do much, other than that. So, you get to do another rehash level. By the way, I only mention this because you will be redoing these levels constantly. 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 This is the same fucking level. The only difference is, this time, halfway through, you get to play as Rouge instead. And this is, remember that fucking jumping bug that Knuckles had? Oh my god. Rouge has it way worse here. She gets stuck on everything. It's the same glitch. I don't understand why this is. It's absurd! Good god, game! So getting back to Shadow, if you could actually be able to tolerate redoing the same goddamn level you just did in Sonic's story, you get confronted by Dr. Eggman who wants my, talisman back. Yeah, and we're gonna call it that the whole time. That's my fucking scepter. Alright? What? It's mine! They called it the Scepter of Darkness. It's mine.
And of course, Shadow. Now,
So anyway, so he confronts them, and they end up dropping the scepter, and then this weird shadow thing comes out. Then it settles on top of Shadow's shadow, and takes form using Shadow's shadow. Did you see that pun?
it's no use. Pull back.
Ha 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 ha.
Yes, very funny. Exhibit, move along.
This shadow turns out to be named Mephiles. Now, Mephiles is arguably one of the more interesting characters throughout the entire Sonic series, and probably one of the best villains. I just am really upset that he's in such a shitty game. So, Mephiles decides he's going to be a dick, and teleports them to the future, because everyone does that. Although this is the point where I will mention a problem. Whenever anybody teleports to the future in this manner, instead of, like, having some kind of whiteout effect, or a slow fade, or them going through a portal, anything like that, they just kind of blip out of existence. Like suddenly, or, you know, it's some of the laziest animation I've ever seen. It's not even an animation, it's like someone was looking at the animation frames, like, okay, this is where the character disappears. Alright, so we're just going to delete that character's model from this part of the cutscene. And that's all they did. No fade out. There's nothing there. They just blip, and they're gone. What kind of fucking... That's not... How is that an animation? How is that skillful? How is this not lazy? So you wind up in the future, and you realize you're 200 years in the future. And then you meet Sonic and Company, like you did, because conveniently you were showed up at the same time. And then you get to do just fucking goddamn level again. Fucking Crisis City. Again. And you started in a truck, which I actually destroyed immediately and just ran on foot, because you don't fucking need it now. You only need that damn thing once. This is the first level. Why would I use it? It's not that good. You do this again. Then you go to the volcano level again. You do that, which I swear is literally the same. And then you fight fucking Iblis again like this. They rehash this boss fight too. Of all the boss fights to rehash, you rehash the one that's boring as shit. Thank you. That's wonderful. That's fucking wonderful. You rehashed the one boss fight that is easily the most boring piece of shit boss fight I've ever played. So I can do this as Shadow now. It's the same. There's no difference. It's the same goddamn boss fight again. And you know, then Shadow decides to stay behind in the future because he just does not give a shit. To chase down Mephiles, who he sees, And then Mephiles has some epic evil villain dialogue, and then you fight Mephiles in arguably one of the only truly artistic moments of the whole game, where Mephiles has decided to take refuge inside your shadow and is taunting you the whole time and attacking you with his minions, and it's a very bizarre situation. It's a very interesting part of the game. It's one of the few times I was actually enjoying myself just because of how cool I thought it was. Of course, to complete this fight, the way is to kick the crap out of enough minions to get your bar up so you can turn into, Super Chaos, Ultimate Mode, whatever. And then for some reason that convinces Mephiles to not be in your shadow anymore, and you kick the living shit out of him. And that is how you win. And then then we go back to Rouge. Maybe you went back to Rouge before this. I don't remember anymore. Don't care. The point is, meanwhile, in the present, Rouge is busy playing this jungle level. This is the dumbest level in the whole game. Right here. As Rouge. There's no point to this level. They might as well have just had her randomly find Omega, which is who she's looking for. And, just find him, because there's no reason to this level. You can fly over almost the whole thing till the very end when you have to defeat a bunch of enemies to bring down a barrier. That's the only fucking time you have to do anything in the level. Just fly over everything. There's no point. There's no point. It's stupid. It's a waste of time. And then you find Omega, and then Omega talks.
Why was there a point for his voice change?
He has an electronic voice. Why change it? And why make it high-pitched? So, Rouge's plan to help Shadow, still in the future, is to convince Omega to hold on to a Chaos Emerald for 200 goddamn years, and to sit around and wait for Shadow. That's your plan. That's your fucking plan. Really? Okay, whatever. So Omega shows up, and then you gotta fight Mephiles again as Omega, which is not nearly as fun as when it was with Shadow, because somehow, even though you beat the crap out of Mephiles, he still manages to overcome Shadow. I don't understand that at all. And then you fight him as Omega, which really sucks, because you're playing as Omega, and Omega doesn't play very well. But maybe because Omega can fucking cheat. In every other level, Omega has this problem where he can glide with his jet boosters, but if you keep mashing the A button, he will never lose altitude. There was a time that I got stuck in a pit like this, and I managed to get out of a pit that I should have fallen in because of this problem. I should not be able to fucking do this. I should not be able to fly across entire rooms.
Then Shadow has to track down Eggman, and lucky, they have to go to the Radical train stage, and Shadow has to destroy a train.
Eggman's train. Oh wait, time frame. Don't understand when he's on this train by himself. Why does he even have that train? What is he fucking doing? And why was he on it in between frickin' like transporting the princess that one time and then kidnapping the princess like 3 times? Like this doesn't make it. I don't understand when this is happening in the timeline. Although it does contain like my favorite Eggman line ever. You finally beat this fucking stage. Oh, that's after you redo the mock stage on a fucking motorcycle, which isn't fun, by the way. And then this happens.
Wouldn't the door have been easier? So,
okay.
What do you want now?
That was awesome. Just the added sarcasm, just this,
If you
really?
Know, you should go find
I just love it. Like, whoever wrote that line is a fucking genius. Anyway, so, you talk to Eggman, and he basically doesn't tell you anything. So then you go, and, you run into Sonic, who's, in the middle of being assaulted by Silver again. Then the Shadow intervenes. And, then you fight Silver, who's another rehashed fucking boss fight, and it's the same fucking thing. Don't get close to him, or else he'll throw you, because he's an ass.
But
and
the outcome
yeah.
of this boss fight does bring probably my favorite moment of the entire game.
Chaos control!
Just seeing Prissy Boy getting kicked in the back of the head just brings me a lot of enjoyment. In fact, let's just play that. Let's just repeat that scene a few more times just to watch it. Oh yeah. Continue.
So, Silver, confronted with the fact that he just got nailed in the back of the skull, decides he's going to use Chaos Control too. And he does, even though he has no clue what he's doing. And he doesn't even know what Chaos Control is at this point. So they open a space-time rift after that, and Shadow decides to go back to 10 years in the past to figure out what happened with Project Solaris, and Silver goes with them, and then you get to do, then you see this scene, where they're working on Project Solaris, and then you hear this.
Take shelter! Why, Solaris? Why do you refuse to listen to my voice?
And then I'm like, well, maybe you shouldn't, piss off the god by zapping it with lightning. That seems like something they wouldn't like. But anyway, so Mephiles splits off one direction, and Bliss goes off a different direction, so Silver and Shadow split up. By the way, at this point, I really need to question something. Okay, Solaris is apparently Solion's god, the sun god. Now, I really want to know, why does the sun god consist of a giant magma monster and a black shadow thing? Lava plus shadow equals sun. Don't know where they're coming from with this. Anyway, so the two split up. Although halfway through the level, you will have to play as Silver. Again. This is also the same goddamn level you played through. That was also doubling for Eggman's base, apparently. Although, I guess he was using the abandoned research facility in Sonic's story. It's the same goddamn level. There's no difference. You're only a Shadow, and you can't cheat because you don't have that purple gem. That's fucking great. Fucking great. And at the end of the stage, Shadow seals frickin' Mephiles in my scepter. What? What is wrong with that joke?
Go on.
Alright. Then he meets up with Silver. He sealed the flames properly. And Shadow goes back to present time. Meets up with Rouge and Omega, I guess. And they decide they're gonna go after Mephiles after they find the frickin' my scepter. We somehow got hidden again. And you have to solve a riddle. It was a really easy one. It basically means light a bunch of candles and around this fountain, and the scepter appears. And I was really mad about that because I hid that fucking thing so well. And they just bust in and light my candles. Just take my scepter. You see what kind of respect I get around here? What? What?
Nothing.
If you had a precious object stolen from you, would you not be upset? What if they stole your ragdoll man? Wouldn't you be upset?
You're retarded. End of story. Let's continue.
So then you move on to Shadow's final level. It's the fucking sand level. Guess what sand you can't step on? All of it! Fortunately, Shadow has a hovercraft. Woo! Hovercraft! This level fucking sucks. You wanna add anything?
The desert is a desert of quicksand.
You have no other complaints to add.
I don't know why there's structures in the quicksand that's not being sunk in. The quicksand works the way it fucking wants to, and yeah.
Sucks. once you get inside the temple, there's sand in the temple that you can step on, apparently. That's totally cool. That sand's fine, just not everywhere else. There's also sand waves you have to avoid, which is really obnoxious, by the way. There's legions of enemies to bust through. I mean, it's a long level. You can play as Omega at one point, which lets you just fly over things, because Omega is a cheating whore. And then you get to the final boss, who's obviously Mephiles. Shadow, by the way, is the only one with 2 original boss fights, as opposed to 1.
Ooh.
So Mephiles taunts you. He's Mephiles. The jerky has 2 Chaos Emeralds, and then you get to fight him in a different form, and it's a different kind of fight, where basically he disappears under the floor, and summons these giant things of doom that you have to kill, and again, charge up your gauge, so you turn into your Chaos mode, and then Mephiles comes out of the floor for some reason, then you beat the living tar out of him, and then that's the end of the boss fight. I mean, it's basically the same fight. They didn't add anything to it, and it's old now, and it's not as interesting as the first one was. So you get the final cutscene where Mephiles gets all OP and obliterates everything, and then Shadow takes off his wrist thing, which apparently restricts his power like in Sonic X. I don't know why they were referenced that horrible goddamn cartoon. But then he releases Chaos Energy and beats the living shit out of Mephiles, and then the end of the fucking storyline.
Oh, and just right before this level, we had to play through Wave Ocean as Omega again.
So now we're at the last of the regular 3 storylines. Silver.
This world is devastated.
Fun.
where I was born.
Oh, fun. I hate this character so much. He had so much potential. He had an interesting power idea. Like, there was a lot they could do, and none of it ever came to fruition. Silver is an irritating little shitbag, and I want to beat him to death, alright? He's always like, I gotta save the future! Yeah! Doesn't matter! I gotta stop you! Because I'm an idiot! And I believe Dark Shadow things with no mouth!
They burn away at my world, destroying everything.
Also, Blaze is here! I don't understand how this fucking girl is here. Rush totally says she's from a different dimension and she's a princess. This is not a different dimension. This is the goddamn future. How is she here? I'm pretty sure she was totally shoehorned in just because she's a likable character. And admittedly, she is one of the more likable characters in the whole game. So, then you get to play through Crisis City. Again. Oh yes! They rehash all the levels. All of them. Every single one.
Fun.
They introduce you to Silver's powers, which don't work nearly as well as they should. You can lift up objects and throw them at enemies, and that's actually about all you can do. If you stun an enemy or get them to low health, you can lift them up and throw them. But other than that, it's basically just grab stuff and throw it. Grab stuff and throw it. Like in the first level, there were some areas where you could make paths with your psychic abilities. There were some times you could stand on metal beams and bend them down with your psychic powers and use them as springboards. And, there's a lot of interesting ideas that work here, but they never build on it. They never make it interesting enough for you to care. And the most of the game is just pick up shit and throw it. That's all you do. Oh my god, look, a box, I better throw it at an enemy. Oh god, another box, I better throw it at an enemy. But they never build on it. They never make it interesting enough for you to care. And the most of the game is just pick up shit and throw it. That's all you do. Oh my god, look, a box, I better throw it at an enemy. Oh god, another box, I better throw it at an enemy. That's all you do, and oh thank god these boxes respawn the whole time. I'm gonna repeat that because the phone rang. And oh thank god these boxes respawn the whole time. I mean, I'd be screwed if I didn't have my respawning boxes. So, in the first level you get to fight Iblis, which actually, the first fight that Silver has is an original one.
It's not very good.
No, it's not. Basically, you pick up stuff and you throw it at him. I think you're seeing a running theme here. And then a Bliss goes away, and Silver goes all emo, how they'll never be able to defeat him. Grr! I'm angsty. And then Mount Bliss shows up, and he has no mouth, so I don't know why they trust this guy. And then he basically tells them that Sonic is a bastard who released Bliss, and they have to go kick the crap out of him. So he teleports them in the back with horrible lack of animation through teleportation. By the way, I feel I should mention that. And then they're in the present. But they soon realize that you're with Silver, and Silver's in a different area than Blaze. Okay. So then Silver has to figure out where she is. So the first level he finally reaches is the jungle level. This is, without a doubt, the worst goddamn level in the fucking game, or at least the most broken one. To this day, I still don't understand exactly how they want you to get through this level, because there's so many different ways to go about it because of how unbalanced Silver's powers are. They didn't create this level with Silver too much in mind. The problem is that basically you have to get to a certain area, and there's so many different ways to get up there, and it's not that they designed it that way, it's an open level where you can, choose your path. No. It's that you have to figure out just how to get on certain platforms, and the path is never clear. There's a huge puzzling aspect when it comes to Silver, and that makes sense considering his powers, but here, there's no real puzzle. The only puzzle is figuring out where the fuck the game really wants you to go. This one area where there's this giant fucking ball on top of this pedestal. Oh, that also responds, just in case you lose it. The only way I can figure out how to get to anywhere is by standing on top of it and making it float up and jumping off. That's the only way I can figure it out. If there's any other way to do it, and it really feels like there should be, because there's another area I can jump to, I don't have to do that. It's such a clusterfuck. There's no way, truly, to figure out exactly where the developers intended you to go. You just go. Oh, the next level is Wave Ocean with Blaze.
I need to find Silver fast.
Yeah. We couldn't leave that one out. Very important. So after that, Silver gets into town, and he shows up about at the festival. And he's all like, oh my god, the Bliss Trigger. I finally found it, yeah. And then Amy shows up and mistakes him for Sonic, even though he looks absolutely nothing like that fucking blue son of a bitch.
Now I've got you, Sonic.
Hey!
Nick, how does Amy make this mistake?
I don't know. I think it would be fairly obvious because Silver has a fucking pot leaf for a face.
I'm sorry.
So, Silver basically says he's looking for someone, and
Hey, where'd he go?
Amy decides to help him look for this person. Although Amy decides to lead him to the desert,
I'm sorry. Did you
in order to find who she's looking for first. The running gag here is that they're looking for the same person. Ha 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 ha! So you're playing the desert level with Silver.
As soon as I find
This time in the desert, though, you get to play as Amy. And Amy is weird. She doesn't control that badly. The problem is that every time you make her do anything, and I mean anything, whether it be attacking, running, jumping, there's always, like, a delay with her movements. And much like with Tails throwing his bombs, this can really fuck you up. But other than that, she's just a side character.
Oh, and she can turn invisible.
Yeah, don't know why she can do that. Not fun.
I have seen hell. And it is Silver's ball puzzle.
I will interject here and argue that I did not have as much of a hard time with the ball puzzle as some people
Well,
say I should have.
Here, someone's a fucking puzzle expert.
No, maybe I got lucky. I mean, it is a little irritating, but with patience, it's not that bad. I still think his jungle level is way worse, just because there's obviously a puzzle there, but I'm pretty sure I still haven't figured out exactly how you're supposed to do it.
Well, I mean, I have no patience, so I'm going to talk about this ball puzzle. I mean,
Off you go.
good God. Just Just because you can have a physics engine in your game doesn't mean you should.